Flame balls, yeah. Spinning thoughts on past themes, future goals. Gotta know enough, truly knows. How to flow and flow on a road that's a dead end. And when you get there, don't worry about where your friends been. Life is so sick, I'ma lay in a bed then. Just think about humans actions making my head spin. I tread wind just to see a light on the other side. Grass ain't greener, so I'm feeling another vibe. Fuck the time, I be forgetting what day it is. My mission delayed a bit to grips on relationships. Life will serve you up like restaurants. A waitress come and take your tips. Affordable mortgage brushing with all the moral stuff. Her head be in space, man, and girls avoid ya. Investigating everything that die like a coroner. Life a blast, but ain't nothing really funny. Don't see no cow or no bees, still looking for milk and honey, yeah. All the stars, and this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2. All the stars of my brain, and this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2. Yo, Lord, a pilot man just tryna land proper. Had to cut off a few limbs, so I had to ham hock it. People got their own mind, dog, and I can't knock it. You can't tell me what the fuck is the damn problem. Yeah, this is a magical world. I talk about the past like a girl. Cause it's a container that's sitting in anger. Yeah, when shit is in danger, you switch up and change it. I gotta fit on the hanger. That blood lights on the Marvel comics. Superhero status got enough power, baby. I can come and pause and comment. All fire, motherfucker, burning so explosive. You can tell my bombs atomic. The whole world got me sitting back, nigga. I don't know what I ought to call it. All is falling. All these stars in my brain trickle down my nervous system, raw in my veins. The blood flow just go all in a maze. Goddamn, God is amazing. All the stars in my brain. And this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2. All the stars in my brain. And this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2. They didn't say what they did to me. I got so many things that I recognize. That's not my girl, she's just a friend of mine. You know, she got me using gas in the fucking side. Yeah, all the stars. And this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2. All the stars in my brain. And this is all true. This is milk and honey part 2.
Now, we're going to talk about the 4 archangels in the goddamn sky. Royal archmains in the goddamn sky. Royal arch rays in the goddamn sky. Out of sight, out of my gal. Out of sight, out of my gal. You know what I'm going to Woo! Ever goddamn capitalize off something ever in your goddamn life. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever goddamn what they call that? What they call it? Exploit. But we is gonna go into the sky. We is gonna, no, that's not an eye. No, it's not a star, it's a spin wheel. It's the 5 C's coming down from the sky, emanation and stuff like that. Learn how to see things in 3D and stuff like that. Cause y'all get too lost and think we're going somewhere into our eye. No. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in the center. We ain't about to find nothing in the ozone layer. No. That which is what it is. That what is what it ain't. Once we understand the mechanism, we know what is. Once we know how to separate what ain't, all right, now we understand a whole lot of circumstances and foundations that we should have been understood before we was fart clouds. Now we're going to get into fermentation. And fermentation mean, harnessing. Now, I got books and all kind of other stuff about coil systems and stuff, but I want to make this genuinely generalized for every individual to be able to understand, such as it ain't nobody had to taught you it was gonna be spring, summer, fall, and winter before you know those letters and names and put together a spell, and you just think it's that, but it's something else going on beyond the word. And if you went to another country, they probably call it a different name. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it places you into a certain construction where you're able to kind of see what's going on after the morning star going into spring. And then we get that water and that fire to create steam. Then we get that whole light ray of, being able to make mustard seeds, bars on these esoteric streets. Then we get the other horizon into the other corner. Because we get into the corner, you get the epilodes, you know what I'm saying, shorter blades, or however the case it may be. You know what I'm saying? But then when we get into the right, it ain't no good cop, bad cop energy, but then it ferment into water and air. So this gives you good H2O before we start to break it down and all these other areas. And you don't have to think I'm pseudo because you think I'm saying like something from a periodic table. Is get ready what I'm about to break down. Like I said, is that what is what it ain't, and that what ain't is what it is. So we put it in circumstances to be able to know what we is, and to know where you're going, you have to know where you come from. Then it gets into the fog, right? Because a collection of H2O in one smothering pocket that a spirit that fulfilled in their own numino, that be their own foggy thoughts, or that be their own thing they get ready to ferment, right? In their little coil system and all they, power system, how they do with the esoteric fan and a cycle system and shit. And then for the most part, then we get into transportation or transformation or evaporation. So when we get into evaporation, that's you taking something that have condensed that became heavy, like a fog, and now you're making what appears to be heavy appears to be light. This is how we create the masses out of the mass, where it's a collection of things that appear to be in the same range, not necessarily together like the Aquarius energy, but also able to have its own position. So you're able to mimic the spirit world, where spirits have their own position, then they mimic or emanate their own mind state, and then their mind state condense and become an organ as a physical representation of that. When you create something before it's even physical, it's a heavy thought because it's a collection of thoughts and feelings. So it's a mentality. My bad, heavy mentality. Now that heavy mentality can be pulled in and manifested as an adrenaline or motivation. But before it gets there, though, right, what kind of state is you looking at it? Is it something that's so heavy that it look like it's on your spiritual shoulders, or is it something you need to transmute once it condensed and became the water version of the fleshly fluid in the mental world, the Christly water or blood? And then for the most part, do you look at it like it's lighter? Do you look at it like a big problem, or is it something you created big, but you don't look at it like it's big? So it's not a big problem, but it's something that you reaching big for the stars, or however the case may be. And then that's when you make something that appear to be heavy appear to be light. And then when you make many versions of those thoughts and feelings all in that collection of pot, it could play out as something looking like it's one thing that's really not, as many things. And then therefore you created a lighter spectrum of something before it condensed heavy. And this is what we actually are talking about as rising the kundalini. Ain't really got nothing to do with fucking and busting a nut or having semen retention or goddamn thinking that you celibacy inside the moment. I gotta use the restroom. Give me 1 second. You know what I'm saying? It got shit to do with these things. Nothing. Here's what y'all get confused when y'all be too much in y'all ego. When y'all be too much in y'all ego as humans. This is what y'all get confused on. It's about the ability. Not getting lost into what you already got the ability of, and then start comparing and contrasting what you like better, and the negative ones you want to cut off, and the positive ones you want to make a religion out of. It don't have anything to do with that. For an example, right? Let's talk about semen retention or celibacy, right? That ain't the point. The point is how you got here is based off a sperm cell going to an egg cell, and that's what makes lungs and brains and things. So cutting off the fact of how you got here ain't the point, and creating a religion around it. And once you understand that it ain't about the process itself, it's about you having that ability, All right, there's a right way of developing sperm or sufficient egg cells, and there's a wrong way of developing sperm or sufficient egg cells, or whatever the case may be. And then if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you celibate too long, you might get dusty sperm cells, just like a female get dusty old hag egg cells, and it take you more than a few times to even pregnate somebody, or for female egg cells to even get pregnant or whatever. So these are know-hows. It's like riding a bike, and either you know how to ride a bike or you don't know how to ride a bike. But you can't be the person who know how to ride a bike and make a religion out of people who like riding bikes, and you can't be a person who don't like riding bikes and then create some weird concept of you gonna glow and attract everybody in the world the more you restrain from riding bikes. Now replace riding bikes from fucking and things of that nature. You're just doing one thing or the other, like, you know what I'm saying? But when y'all start to get lost in these things, sometimes these frame of thoughts come from people who lacked in the area, so that was their main focus. So they start to justify the bias between what was considered good to them and what was considered bad to them through that issue, that many other individuals may find that scripture other than other individuals that may find other scriptures, because it's piggybacking on their problems that ain't got nothing to do with that. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, people who broke will find other scriptures in the Bible. People who got small dick issues will find other scriptures in the Bible, like celibacy and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, y'all got to understand it's the ability, not using one or the other. Same way how y'all coming up with religion and stuff, right? You'll come up with a thought and think this thought better than the other thought, or whatever the case. No, you have the ability to think. Now, there's a right way to think and there's a wrong way to think. And you should be trying to connect that to relatable and synchronizing energy. And then that's how something don't have to be around you that you can pick up a thought from that look like it's better for you and your whole goddamn spiritual root race and things of that nature. And then for the most part, that monkey ain't have to be around you so you to think like a more sufficient monkey. You know what I'm saying? Just like you ain't have to be around a bee nest for them to know that they need shelter. The bees, they have to be around a beaver to know they need shelter. The humans, they have to be around no dinosaurs to know they need shelter. So obviously, there's some form of quality that we're looking at that we don't have to be around each other to be able to see. The shelter quality itself. The once we start comparing and contrasting, well, I like this shelter better than the other shelter. That ain't got shit to do with we all creating a shelter, and we all need to create that together in some way, shape, or form. So there's things that we get lost in bias, and it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. So we get lost in a small manuscript and not know how to ferment and get stuck in pockets of time without even knowing it. So peep game. Now, when we get into coming from winter and going into spring, so that's after the morning star on a macro scale, right? Now, or 8-pointed star. Now, so when you get into choppy, so when you get into that's bringing in what was froze, get ready to be melted, but that's a lighter form before the condenser form of evaporation. So this emanation, visualization. So steam is when you're presenting visualization, a vision, an idea, fire. An idea right after it, it's a consort. But in this lens, it's a conduit. And then that's when it cool off. You're taking that fire, putting it in a sweet spot so you can think about put other representatives in there, and then that becomes water. But that's a washing machine cycle. So anytime water, fire, water, right? It creates the micro version of evaporation. So you're emanating thoughts. You're putting out fumes like a skunk. You're putting out energies and things. You're putting out light rays. But for the most part, it's at its early stage. If you don't know how to ferment this process, it don't matter what you do in the physical world. Your mind ain't on track, so you might make more mistakes, even if you're going through a mistake that is more on a percentage scale of someone else's fault. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you'll manifest so many of those situations, you'll still come to the same conclusion that it's more the percentage scale I'm putting in, and I shouldn't be taken advantage of and can place myself in these degenerate ass situations that I'm getting the short end of the stick of anyway. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, you're going to still come to the conclusion once you get out of all those experiences and blaming others and victimizing yourself or whatever the case. Now, so once you understand you're making steam, now steam itself goes into a cool spot and start to condense, collapse. So now you got H2O, oxygen, hydrogen, right? Now this is allowing you to be able to communicate that emotion, that internal cloud that you made out of fire and water. So it's steam, and it's just light enough to not stay inside of you, and you want to express it outwardly. And this is how the throat chakra is created and things of that nature too, for lack of better words, if y'all think things are pseudo or whatever. Just the organs, your Adam's apple, some of y'all who got goddamn pineal gland stuck, nut stain, frontal lobe that just trickled down and like blocked and made you get arthritis in your thyroid, however the case it may be. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, boom. That's when it's in the air. Once it's fire and water and it's a vision and you start to express it, you can express the vision. You can express the vision. The vision is the fire. Expression is the water. It being cooled off. So you got that cloud. Now the cloud got to go the distance. It got to travel. So as that water, you break it down even more. You get more into the fermentation. You're extracting it like wine. You're extracting this internal fruit, this cloud, this collection of thoughts that turned into a womb, an emotion. You're extracting the pieces of it and break it down so it can become a more condensed cycle that you can actually verbally construct a word out of it. Struck the word out of these floating emotions, because that's all we be doing. We be speaking, and then we create languages to try to understand what emotion we're pulling out of our atmosphere to express to others. And the heavier the water, the heavier the word, or the longer the word, or the more intense the word. You know what I'm saying? So get you into the holy concept in your internal organ system before we make organs. Then for the most part, here's the thing. Once you get into that fermentation quality and stuff like that, right, you're starting to analyze oxygen, that emotional intelligence, hydrogen, and then for the most part, it puts you into a situation of wanting to communicate what you are experiencing internally. That's that steam that's spewing out that can't nobody seem to see until you communicate it or put it into action, or for the most part, start to put energy into it, whatever. So it start to become your appearance or how you appear to be. Now it become your wind that's really so thick a person could see it, but it's just playing out like a vibe. This is fog, confined in a thought form. You know what I'm saying? Because so you go from seeing the expression, vision, fire, water, the emotion. That's the first, that first steam. So you can see, water sees or see, or it's retracted, and you can visualize what you're trying to push out. So now you're understanding the washing machine cycle on your own. Teamwork makes a dream work, all of us as species. So boom, that's us expanding the universe. So it's more form, when physical form between us, for us all to experience what we're all doing from our own perspective and our own makeup of it and things of that nature. So we are experiencing layers that we're making, and we're experiencing the fermentation, right? You emanate a vision, then you eat it as a spirit, then you add more to it, it condensed, then you keep doing that, you keep doing that, you keep doing that, and then this is us creating the external world from the inside out, though. So we're always eating. We're always eating and pushing out, eating and pushing out. As a spirit, we emit, so that's expansion, and then we're by default simultaneously inside what we just expanded. So that's condensing or internalizing. So we got externalizing, internalizing. So when you externalize at its very first state, if you're not already in a mind, you're making a mind, and that very same thing you created from your pocket is the very same thing you inside of too. So you make your first layer, your mind, and when you do that inside of it, this what makes it more condensed and more realms of realities, and you're doing that with other spirits around you. So that's the first form of sex. And then for the most part, that become all the things that's filling in, and for us to experience each other once it condense and implode even more into the physical form, and we still doing the same thing to attach to each other and bring new forms. So the joining of two energies create another energy. 1 + 1 = 3, not 1 + 1, and we know it's objects. We're talking about from a spiritual concept, just like you take a mother, a father, and that could create a child. 3 objects. You know what I'm saying? So took a dick in a pussy, bitches. You know what I'm saying? They take Tom, Dick, and Harry, Jimmy, and Adam, and goddamn Mount Everest. You know what I'm saying? They take all them people and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Adam and Steve. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's not just, we talk about it in the mind. We're not talking about physically. Y'all can suit y'all boat however y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. We're talking about in the mind right now. We're talking about when we connect the things. We know inside of the mind, the Cain and Abel story is just correlated to, if you got two of the same thoughts and you can't make no decision, for the most part, one gonna have to kick the ass of the other one and things of that nature. But in all actuality, these are two of the same thoughts in the same field of reality, so it's causing frustration. Now, when you pull one thought and pull another thought out from another pocket, if they're going in the same direction, then for the most part, that creates harmonious energy. If it's two of the same energies, that create frustration. So for the most part, that manifests into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension as competing. You know what I'm saying? People fighting over the same energy, or people in some type of pocket where it's an outdated energy and people try to fight over that, or whatever the case may be, because there's nothing new presented yet, or there's no new vibe in the energy, and everybody remixing an old vibe that seemed like it worked previously. So that can play out, that like those circumstances also that play out as harmful. Is harmful to the spirit, because the spirit is always trying to expand, and it'll like to get condensed and things of that nature. So everything is in reverse. To take the left hand path in the physical, you have to be righteous in the spiritual. You can't take the left hand path in the spiritual. That's going to lead you into being unrighteous in the physical, because you're not taking responsibility for what you're leaving behind and things of that nature. And then for the most part, you just keep expanding. So when you expand within the mind, it appears that you are springing a cycle. So you're seeing it go to the right, and you think that you may be going to the left in some way, shape, or form every time you expand. So when you expand, you emanate a new thought. Then it plays out like a cycle of being stationary, but when you expand again, that thing get added on, that next thing get added on to it. That's the second coming, the second idea. So you're starting off the first spin cycle, because I'm taking y'all to the very early stages of life and stuff like that. Then you take the first spin cycle. Then the more you emanate, you push off something that appear to go to the right, and you just start making forms that's always lesser dense or lesser in control, or things that's new than familiarity. And then it appears to be like left all the way down to, you're more right-handed than left-handed, almost to the teamwork makes the dream work, as we are creating the spirit going to the left, still making new things. So it's more unfamiliar, but the things that we have to take responsibility for is on our right. So that it makes that hand have to be stronger, because it's collecting everything that we're expanding and appear to go to the right are things we have to take responsibility for. So when you take your left hand path, it's just about singling yourself out of something. Everything has an equilibrium in it. Every little small pocket, not just being like, oh, I'm in an equilibrium world, so do I take the left path or the right path? That's retarded. Everything has everything has its own space in its own center. Anytime you're traveling esoterically, based upon it condensing as circumstances and situations for you. So there may be a situation, you're too righteous, you're too much apart and connected to another piece of water or mind with your spaceship mind water, right? And that's the time to take left hand, separate, go your own path. Then there's times that you're too much on your own path, and there's things you need to connect to via people, places, and things before you become too separate, and whatever the case. And that's when you have to be more righteous, or however the case. But these are just based on each scenario, not I got some code to something, and if I do this all the time, that only works if you're doing something like getting money or whatever, and then that always burn out and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because only business stuff like that takes extreme reprobate energy and stuff, where business can actually be ran better, even if it was still some equilibrium somewhere. But it's not enough people developing their own talent for it to be that way. But for the most part, when we get into seeing the expression, that's winter going into summer. So that's the first arch, that's steam. Second arch, you're going to be able to communicate that floating emotion. That's water and air, H2O. Then the third arch, it condenses into fog, confining thought forms. The thought form actually becoming an appearance before it's heavy that you can weigh it, but it's a collection of things that if it was something that was already condensed in its expiration date, the same size, already compact, once you weigh that, it'll be heavy, something you can't lift. But in this attribute, it's each of the piece of the makeup before it condensed in that fashion, and you're getting ready to see, the proposition or the real presupposition of a manuscript, or how something is manufactured. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, that's confining the thought form, right? And emanating it or expressing it in the way that it's supposed to be in that way. Then before it becomes too heavy, or however the case, or too much of attention span that you don't see things in no other way but the expectations that you have put onto it, and it haven't even reached that outcome yet, that's making it heavy. It's not about actually letting things go. It's about transmuting heaviness and making it light. You see what I'm saying? So something that was affecting you is impactful. That'll be a heavy cloud. If it don't affect you, then for the most part, you made it lighter, but you didn't change the form itself. You just allow it to not tether on you. You allow it to not hang on to you like a dark cloud, and then you're running around waiting for certain expectations through certain specific people, places, and things for that specific outcome. This is when you become a devil. But then you can learn about this in a non-equilibrium way. You can learn about this in an occult way and think, well, maybe I have to always do it this way, the way I'm taught, like Aleister Crowley, or always go to left-hand path, always go to right-hand path. And it's not that either. You see what I'm saying? It's you can't run away from feelings. You're the creator of these things, and we make the world. So it's about transforming it. You don't see it or react or respond to the impactfulness. So replace the seeing the expression, winter and fall. Then the next one, summer going into fall, water and air, being able to communicate the floating emotion. Then see it as fall going into winter time, right? That'll be confined in a thought form, right? Air, earth, and then you have winter going back into summertime, right? This will be the earth and the fire aspect, transforming a heavy thought or feeling, or just transforming something heavy into light. So look at what you just created in that process, and before it gets to the last evaporation process, change that word to expectation. So you did something, but separate the expectation. Even at the starting point, you had to develop an outcome and an expectation to even have the motivation seed to follow through with it. Once you follow through with it, separate from the expectation. So you created the heaviness, the expectation, but then once you got it now, you separate from the expectation. So you're not allowing the fruit or the creation to control you. Now it's able to be fermented, and you get ready to turn water into wine. You get ready to be spiritually hydrated, that collection of thoughts and feelings that you ain't trapped in, it controlling you. And then for the most part, it's going to be something that you're happy with, no matter how much effort you had to do. Go get it, winter to summer. Step on it, fall, summer to fall. Strange it out, get it out the grate and all that stuff like that. Get foggy, make mistakes and stuff like that. However the case may be, after harvest season, boom, fall going into winter. Then winter going back into summer now. Something you ain't all worked out, and then now you expect it to taste perfect, or you expect everything to come with it at the highest quality, or whatever the case may be. Boom. In that case, that puts you in a better perspective where now that you ain't expecting something, that same energy you put out is allowed to come back to you in that same magnitude without you seeing it in a different way through expectations. And then even if it comes to you in another magnitude, you won't be able to see it even if it was right in front of you, just because it's coming through a person, place, or thing, a circumstance, or a situation that don't look like what you expected it with your goddamn foggy glasses on at the moment, because you feel like what you expect and how much work you put in from the goddamn seeing the expression. First arch, second arch, goddamn being able to communicate it or put it in existence. Third arch, it being what surrounds you and your perception and your character. And then goddamn fourth arch, everything that come with it, even if you told a whole bunch of shit faking it till you make it, and then you don't even want to be around the people that you said that, but you ain't got what you was putting out there, that you know that they got your same self-projection now. Expectations. So now they expect things from you, and you expect to have yourself in that position. These things that make your spirit running high if you don't know how to transmute your cloud, and it becomes just too heavy, and you don't know how to put it through the fourth process. Make it light. Therefore, you got different ideas and stuff like that, and as a spirit, you could jump into it as it go back to the springtime, and then it'll be your day to reign again. But for the most part, when you don't know how to do that, you stay in a pocket of time, and you stay trying to, this would develop ego or trying to prove something. And then for the most part, you need a whole bunch of external things to be like the thing that you actually could be naturally if you go ahead on the beauty path and be on the cycle peacefully. Right? And don't go into resistance. Right? So now you stay in one pocket. So it's not about you, it's about the title. It's not about you, it's about what you got. And if these things you got in the title is got a heavy emphasis on things that we have made normal, especially like on Walt Disney commercials and stuff like that, that everybody have agreed with terms and conditions of this, what it means to be doing things successful, however the case may be, you'll stay your ass in that pocket and think that your spirit is that mentality that condensed and became that physicality that you did in an external world to think that you was somebody. Then for the most part, you're already in a casket. You're already walking dead. And now you don't know how to ferment. You only know how to take what's already been harvested. So other people who's fermenting got to reach in your spiritual position, for you to be able to know what to harvest, for you to be able to know what to take. And sometimes this create energy vampires too, that felt the, develop their own layer on systems and stuff like that when they're going through these spiritual transits, and may not have a book or any individual as part of their lineage saying I'm back to show them how to confine their mind in a much more sharper perspective, going through these goddamn wind cycles in the esoteric world. So it's about squaring out the circle, but also circling out the square, and understanding that you're always in that spaceship, that triangle, to reach your point. And that point is where you emanate everything from anyway. So you're always there as a spirit, not somewhere you're going. So you're always there, emanating outwardly to the cooled out spots to be in, to show people how to engineer new spaceships and new physical forms out of them and stuff like that, which is how we're creating new species and how we're becoming indigenous on all lands in the first place, right? So this is it's a timely process as far as creation, mutation, and evolution. Now, so when it comes into fermentating, once you got a vision and you add other visions, right, you're creating a water, but it's starting to be steam, and steams is basically creative thoughts and feelings, compressions, right? You're compressing it. Now, for the most part, when you want to start coming up with ways to express it outwardly, whether verbally or not, it can be action-wise, saying-wise, visualization-wise, due to your creativity, imagination, whatever you do with the physical world, or however you will see yourself if it was to be related with someone before you relate it to other individuals, or how it be related to other places and things or whatever. You sit back and imagine, yeah, this vision I just came up with, steam, will be a good representation for this type of circumstance. Right now, you're communicating it with something. You're doing a two energy. You're taking one point and putting it in another point, expanding the imagination. So this, now you're communicating within yourself before you even come up with that light bulb and it condense, and you want to use your throat chakra to be able to express it outwardly. Then sometimes you can't help it. Even if you don't have the right way to communicate it, to have another individual be like, yeah, that makes sense yet. Because you could collect so many thoughts from this process, is automatically going to go to the third royal arch. And it's going to be so foggy, you got to release it. You got to say it. And don't be no drunk, because you're going to be a person that talk out loud all the time and shit like that. But for the most part, boom, you got to release it. And then for the most part, that's confining their thoughts, or a person who got unconformed thoughts, it'll come out too in this state. Because we all got creativity. We just don't know how to direct it in the right area. So it'll be a person who don't know how to do things in their life, still going through this process. And many people is creative right now. They're just wasting their time on not doing things without having nothing to show for it. So they not even getting hated on to be blocked. But for the most part, a lot of these people go through these situations not being in a proper position around people, places, and things, or the circumstance, or the handle to get they want to in that certain area, and end up being around people that's in other areas that only join together with them for bullshit and things of that nature. Now when they at the bar or the club, or they drunk, or whatever the case may be, this motherfucker person talking out loud and shit like that, and this is foggy. You can't put it together. And there's probably a lot of shit that they got creative in that motherfucker too. And if they're around other individuals, people will take that shit and don't even know how to take it to the maximum goal. But at the same time, this is the devilish world we in. But when a person know how to sufficientify themselves, they'll be able to confine their thought forms and won't be all over the place. So even when a person is too distracted with other things and they still a creative person, their thoughts just won't be coming out, but don't be confined into a way where they're looking at things like it's too heavy to even go about it in the physical world. And then they start to be like, yeah, I would like to do that. I know I'm creative, but I got to do this, that, and the third. And I got to have this little 2 fishies and salmons on my plate first. And they be over exaggerating shit. And sometimes they be making an excuse to get out of something, or not put in the work, or want someone else to put more of the work in other areas for them to actually proceed in that. Or so a lot of times they be needing their ego boost due to the fact of some retarded shit, or a lot of times everybody be in survival mode. So they might put other things that's more important, like their responsibilities, on the passenger seat, other than things like their creativity that could probably help them out with that a lot better if they just was confined in the right area to know how to put those two pieces together. But a lot of times it's how things happen. Personal creativity will go in the back seat, responsibilities go in the passenger seat, any little time left that they got in their life all the way till they get old, then that back seat start looking more important because they tired of driving and shit like that. Shit can't even take it as far because they can't even drive to take it to the distance. See what I'm saying? But when we start talking about fermenting, this is why you have to make sure you're not in your own hole, because you could be in your own abyss. This is what it means to be in your own dark abyss, your own black womb, your own mind, right? Or that, and things, some of these things that y'all be worshiping or giving too much power to and stuff like that, don't be having anything to do with anything. And you have to understand everything from an equilibrium perspective. And that'll be the only way you'll be able to do it in real life. Other than that, it might just be used for other circumstances, like grandma Christianity. You know, we know how grandma be using the Bible and stuff like that for all kind of circumstances. Everybody been through it. So this is pretty much just for everybody. But at the same time, when you know this is what you're making, This is always what you're seeing first. Now, is this unfortunately, we in a world full of a lot of individuals who may not even know that they're doing this with themselves, not even knowing this is a starting point, and around many other people that's doing this. So everybody is lying to themselves and lying to others in the meantime as forms of comfort zones and thinking that this is a safe way of how to play the world. So it's been going on for so long, y'all don't even know where y'all lying to yourselves at. And a lot of times y'all be self-projecting on each other. So y'all try to figure out how I can self-project on this person better than they just self-project on me. And then y'all don't even know that's what y'all be doing. Then y'all create norms, social norms out of these self-projections and stuff like that, which don't lead to anywhere but competition and trying to make money, which is a lot of times you got to be real careful adding these traits which you do to spiritual natures. You know, like a rapper or Joel Osteen or Creflo Dollar saying, thank you, God, for giving me this award, this money, or this, you see what I'm saying? Where it ain't about the money, and you ain't got to pick one or the other, being in pilgrim energy and saying, well, you're a godly person if you just go away from money, or you're an ungodly person because you know what I'm saying, you in God's pockets. It's about just make money in honest ways, and if somebody was to ask you whatever you actually have to teach, what kind of space you be in, boom, then you start to kick. Yeah, I be in Christianity, or I be in this, or I be in that, or things of that nature. Other than that, once that goes before you, and then when it comes to what you genuinely know how to do, we ain't even got to go there because we can just look at your waistline and you look like Homer Simpson. So at some point, now all that should be bullshit. But here's the thing. When you know how to ferment the right way, you can take anything that's already out here and, you know, put that spark to it, see the, that's the birth, then see the life of it, right? See what happens, then see the deterioration of it and things of that nature, the outcome or where it's going, and then, goddamn it, see the death of it, and see what's the brand new thing that can be brought into position of it. And then that's the evaporation process. So a lot of times you could take something that have already been fermented, create a new fermentation around it, communicate it in a whole new angle, a whole new light. Now it becomes foggy, cloudy judgment because people see a new way that can be more sufficient than the previous or the current way that was done. And then you evaporate the previous or the current way it was done. And then there's only one way to do it now in some way, shape, or form. And then you become the face and the representation of that. So anytime somebody take that fruit and try to duplicate it in their own way, but they don't know how to plant that seed, they don't know how to grow the fruit the right way, harvest it based upon the fermentation and things of that nature, it'll be a synthetic version. And some way, somehow, that person will work for you. Because even though if they get some, you know, they make a commercial about it, right? They just found it in a field somewhere, make a commercial about it. Yeah, they might make $1 million off the commercial, but eventually people are gonna get so interested in that, they're not gonna care about the author unless the author know how to pluck another seed like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you made Jay-Z, make another hole. Shout out to Dame. I'm just using this as an example. So for the most part, boom, eventually it just works in the favor of the person who's not putting other synthetic things as more of the percentage scale of importance on it. Then for the most part, where it actually counts, then that's when the person who actually know how to do the esoteric farming and landscaping actually could create the new system around how these fruits going to be on a concession stand. And the fruit could be plucked from this esoteric realm and brought down to the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension as different constructs of business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be quick on your toes. So it's about fermentation because you're going off something natural in the world. So if it's a shift in the world, you already know the shift. Just like you get prepared for it to become spring and summertime, summer to fall, fall to winter, winter to summer. You get prepared. All right, that's a thing. That's a pocket of existence. So it don't just play out there. You have to find equilibriums everywhere. That play out anytime you see a percentage scale somewhere, it play out somewhere else in different percentage scales because everything is a collection that's together. But if everything was one thing, it'd be heavy. But if it's a collection of things that could appear to be in one pocket, then it's light. It's light in weight, not light as in photons and stuff like that. It's light in weight. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand something is light in weight, it puts you in a position of understanding the quantum world, or shout out to Quantum, rest in peace, and Osama Quinn and things of that nature. But for the most part, this is what they was even teaching also, right? How to look at the pieces or the building blocks to understand the qualities of MASSASOIT. Ooh, pardon me. That's not somebody's name, but that's just like another name for ERACTASSWA or chief or whatever. But it's an as above, so below name. Right, so you're the representation of the sky to cultivate the land as below, but based upon you doing that with your own higher nature, your mind and your lower nature in your body, and it's more in sync and relatable. So whatever I called it, I'm more in sync because whatever I called it wasn't based off me hitting you upside the head with an arrow. What I called it was based off something you can understand, even when we ain't around each other. I was just the first person to reach that egg, that esoteric egg, or whatever the case may be. So I was born and gave birth in that area, being a man, MASSASOIT, down here, so you could be birth to that. And then if I want to come to your village and step on your neck and say, make you say, Uncle, And if I'm gonna be your new father or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we gotta get past them days. We gotta get past that mind state, get past them structures and the thought forms and stuff like that. Like, this is like these practices right here. I'm just the light surface. I'm saying, but these that when it go deep and a lot of different individuals get involved and stuff like that, this was all of our problems, especially Native Americans and damn the white boy. This is one of the problems that you got to get away from. Just like that type of this, like that could go deep. We don't need to go there. Y'all minds ain't ready for that. But when it comes to just real Star Wars or mentalities or sun, moon, and the stars and the nations, right? This is the characteristics that you need to make sure that you in the right pocket so you're not out of bounds. And then, we got the sun and the moon cycles to give every representation of how that be. Just how we plant seeds and it grow a tree. You know what I'm saying? Same type of circumstance. So you need to know that you're seeing planting happen in different percentage scales and magnitudes and velocity, volumes, and masses, right? You're seeing cycles in different areas and stuff like that. That's not if you even consider getting lost in flat earth. You need to understand that a cycle ain't just dealing with the water, it's dealing with the wind. The wind ain't just dealing with that, it's dealing with circumstance. The circumstance ain't dealing with that, it's also dealing with the seasons, dealing with a lot of things. The seasons will also teach you that even when you see a plant, before it rotten and before it get ripe, and before it reached that stage of looking like it's getting ready to get right, and that stage of it's just a seed or it's just a crab apple or whatever, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Or dot, triangle, masculine, feminine, right? Circle, square, feminine, masculine, or however the case may be. So that tells you that that's a form of a cycle, even if it's playing out in ways that you may be stuck in, linear, but you can't find a percentage scale of how that could be a cycle, or other things you might be in, velocity, but you can't see how a piece of velocity can have a form of cycle, mass, but you can't see how mass can become a cycle. So you somewhere creating the first law of thermodynamics and get ready to say energy can't be created or destroyed. But that don't even make no sense, because for something to have mass, right, there has to be something new to add on to something, because it just can't be velocity and volume. Okay, then how did it get mass? How did one shape get bigger than the other shape? How did one balloon get something extra in it other than the other balloon that stays the same air in it, and you just can only make different goddamn clown shapes out of it and shit like that? How did the concept come from you can add more air? How did the concept you can add more of something? How did the concept that you can even have more children? Where did the concept come from that you can have more thoughts? Now we're gonna be getting foggy land and create energy and make it a god or whatever the case may be. Then this will make y'all retarded. You know what I'm saying? Or however the case. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? What's energy then? Energy, you got condensed forms of it, and the first form of it is you emanating a thought or a feeling. Right? That's how we even make sperm cells and egg cells. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's what when we start talking about condensing and these thought forms and stuff like that, that's what's upholding. That's what's so we can actually see cycles: birth, life, deterioration, death, spring, summer, fall, winter. Yahweh, Yahweh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire, water, air, earth. You know what I'm saying? All these the same expansion, contraction, explosion, condensing, all the same thing. Expansion, boom, you emanate a mind state. Contraction, boom, you inside of that mind state. Expansion, boom, you add more to it. Now it's so heavy it can condense. Boom. Fire, water, air, and earth. You know what I'm saying? All of these are cycles. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what pocket you get lost in, there's a cycle in it. You know what I'm saying? And then we construct the up, down, left, right. Just like when we're at spirit, we emanate, and that what's in our center appear when we make another emanation to go to the right, and then we create characteristics that make us appear that we're every time we emanate, we go into the left. So emanation, expansion, going to the left, forward, up, and then goddamn contracting in that, everything that you're inside of appear to be going to the right, down, and back. And then for the most part, boom, emanate, that's left, up, forward. You're contracted in that, that's right, down, back, right? And then as a spirit, when you start to harness that form to be more aware of what you're doing as a being and things of that nature, you become the 7-pointed star, the 5-pointed being with 2 wings. Then once you do that in emanation, like a Merkaba, you're the 8-pointed being, or you're the morning star, right? So you're always in that engine of being born again and experiencing death in its right way. You stay light on the beauty path. You don't get stuck in no pocket. So your spirit always is in the God realm. Behind, it's not really behind the sun, but it's where all of us as spirits is emanating outwardly. And as a spirit, you always know that's the ability. You're always there first, not you getting lost in your abilities, the stuff you emanate from there. And then you always are able to engineer new subjective mind states that's bigger than others, because your spirit is bigger than others behind the holy gate. And then make your holy gate color and stuff like that, or darkness, and push it out from that piece of the sun, because you behind it, or the holy gate. That's the holy gate. And then boom, and start to go off in cool spots, clouds, air, water, and now it's a new atmosphere and environment. And then goddamn it, as a spirit, you bring enough spirits with you in the washing machine cycle, boom, y'all go be the indigenous and the regular people, or the first animals or creatures or whatever, get ready to build it up, fill it all up, fill it up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all we fill up pockets of reality. So when y'all all over the place scattered, everybody gets stuck in their own pocket reality, and it play out as your own mind. You grouping up with others who got lost in their own mind, thinking y'all together, and then fade away, and then not be able to come back to be able to do it again. So y'all got to be careful that y'all not in those energies also. You know what I'm saying? There's a thin line between tribe and cult, or clan and cult. There's a thin line between the two. You could be doing things serving two masters for something externally, or you could be doing something that's a union that make other people want to copy it anyway. Then you might have to throw people away from it. Like, nah, we don't need this many people, or whatever the case may be. Like, because it's so potent, it's so cold, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like, make a whole group of people come to your whole land and continent. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, let alone just the party house or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you got to understand what's going on. And how to look at it in this right way. So when you're creating visions, right, that's steam. You're steaming, trying to get lit, trying to create a bright little pocket gas star, or whatever the case may be. Gas star, Madagascar. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Then once you do that, it's getting ready to transit and be that from that first arch to the next arch. Boom. You're getting ready to be like, say you came up with an idea, you probably get ready to lie about it. Don't lie about it. You'll come up with an idea, now you about to see how you feel about it. You're like, oh, I remember that. I feel this way about it. Hopefully it ain't got George Washington and goddamn Benjamin Franklin and stuff, too much of that on it. They ain't so bad, but goddamn it, y'all know how y'all go too far, and now everybody's business got to be destroyed for yours to thrive. You know what I'm saying? But boom. It starts spinning from the vision, the steam, and then boom, it go to the H2O. You're like, whoo, you trying to blow it out. Whew. Trying to blow it out. Don't become a fast ass talker, manipulating ass scheme. Everybody got to end up on DJ Vlad dealing with your ass 10 years later and shit. You know what I'm saying? But boom, boom. Then once this beam up, boom, it gets foggy. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you ain't creating no presuppositions and cloudy judgments for other individuals, or just showing that you self-projected and you ain't goddamn shit or whatever. What's wrong with the damn screen? Oh, okay, there we go. And shit like that. Boom. Then it gets ready for, it's heavy. Don't let everything that you see as possibilities, expectations, shit you already got from it, don't jump in and be like, I'm that, and I just want to stay here. No, get light about it. Don't expect nothing from it and shit like that. Let it go ahead and rise up, evaporate. Just like we going back into springtime after winter. Let it evaporate. Boom. You gonna get all that. You gonna get all that cycle, whatever. You gonna get all that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna be able to stop you. What God gave you, can't nobody stop it. It's like that type of energy or whatever. We gotta let it go. Let it go in a cycle. You try to, if it stay here, it's trying to go there. You try to hold on to it. You're like, no, I got a lot of other thoughts. Stay dark. Stay cloudy. You know what I'm saying? Stay nighttime. Inside of it, you might think you at a beach. So it's the brightest thing in yourself in the world to say. All other spirits around you, like, this motherfucker got an ego, or this motherfucker lost this something, or I'm a PhD or something like that. I'm a feminist. You know what I'm saying? I'm a boss bitch, or however the case may be, or whatever. Or I got small dick issues because I'm a red pill. However the case may be, this is what they try to spin. And every day got to be the same thing. They try to spin it. You all saying grifter, scammer. They'll spin somebody off. They'll spin the shit. They'll spin the conversation. You know what I'm saying? They're always spinning this shit. What's another one? What's another one they call it? Diverge. You try to deflect. Yeah, spin it. Spin. Keep spinning and shit like that. It'd be dizzy as hell. Like the people who try to claim they created hip hop for 50 years ago and shit like that still don't own no piece of it. They still spinning on a cardboard box in front of a New York City building right now. Waiting for a bucket hat man to come around the corner and say, "Hey, y'all still spinning? I'll give you another chain." Oh, I'm saying, you dizzy yet? I get it. Then once the birdies and like things start flying off, it might be a whole nother 50 years, and these cats still goddamn don't own shit and shit like that, and start spinning again for another 50 years and shit like that. And Jew man come again, hey, you on a Rolls Royce? Oh, send me something to rock y'all to sleep, and it'd be taking y'all about 50 to 72, 71 priests and rabbis that come up with the goddamn fixed stars Bible energy or whatever to just rock y'all to sleep real quick. Oh, send me something. It'd be something real simple or something like that. They hit you upside the head or something like that with a good old clock chain. You know what I'm saying? Good old Jesus Christ face chain and shit like that. It'd take you about 75 years to wake up as a people. You know what I'm saying? Every time, like, it'll never fail. It'll never fail. Here you go, you get all dizzy again and stuff like that. So one little birdie fly away. You know what I'm saying? One little star fly away. Here come a whole limousine with the window about to roll down the back. Yeah, we got them new cars coming out. So you want that? Oh, you about to go to sleep for a whole nother 90 years. Oh, for that. You about to go to sleep for a whole nother 90 years and shit like that. You thought you was living. You thought you was living and shit like that. Oh, shit. Oh, for that. Oh, son, I feel for y'all. I feel for everybody in this bitch. I feel for everybody. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Good fermentation, harvesting and stuff like that, and harvesting goods and golds and stuff like that. Because y'all got to think about it too. Y'all put a lot of fruit in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I know a whole bunch of LL Cool J's, Queen Latifah. I think she's my family or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. I remember going to a family reunion. She was there. I remember. I said she must be native or something like that. Because I remember going to a family reunion. In Jersey. Also, motherfucker, and in Philly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it might be some other shit going on and shit like that, because y'all be taking a long time to wake up out of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. If something go over your head real fast, like it don't get off your head till like 300 years later and shit. Then the next time it don't even really be off your head. It'd be like a little piece. It'd be like this. Somehow, here come a new chain. Snap back on. Like it snap back on real quick and she get dizzy again, like on Mortal Kombat. Oh, so you get dizzy on Mortal Kombat and shit like that. Little finisher. You already finished. You already Voodoo Dolls. Already Michael Jackson. You already Lil Uzi Vert. Oh, so we don't even need the next Mortal Kombat to come back. Oh, shit. Somebody already got the code. You already that now and shit. Why are you alive? So, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I had to figure out, man, I just got me a whole lot of birdies, a whole lot of stuff like the Samsons. I almost thought that was a crown one time. I came up there like the Samsons. I'm like, wait a minute, like, am I tripping? You know what I'm saying? I start tripping. I'm like, wait, I'm tripping. I'm like, wait a minute, it's got that arch right. Oh, nah, no wonder it was everybody's favorite cartoon once upon a time. I'm saying, like, I know how to see life. I know how to see it cold, like cold as shit. Everybody be dizzy. Everybody be dizzy for a good 70 years. Good 71 years and shit like that. It'd be time for another cycle. About 3, 4, 5 people start acting like birdies flying away, stars flying away and shit. Be another one that closed that seal again. It closed that. Wait a minute. But they need another gold chain. That's it. I said, what you want, a big backyard? Oh, I said, that's it. It like the seal closed, just like y'all monkey ass mouth closed. Oh, man. So the cell close up in your mind, you shut the and your ass do that down there. That's it, all working as it is in heaven to be on earth and shit like that. Oh, that. I know why Prince turned his name into a damn sign of symbol and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was doing something good. Shit, you ain't getting not a dime off of the name Prince. So shit, you ain't did shit. You ain't did shit, but just died and shit. But rest in peace, Prince, though, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all cats be giving false credit to shit like that. I don't see things the way y'all be seeing it. I see things way different. I just see things way different, like right now. Because if I thought like y'all thought, I'd be retarded. I'd be thinking like the way I think. I'm like, damn, where's Prince's nephew? I'm say, where's Prince's niece and stuff like that? Everybody ain't got to be musicians. Where is that money going towards one of their books or scientific heart surgeon? Or Wild Wonder owned a whole concert corporation, like a concert goddamn Ticketmaster system or something like that for other artists. It's like, you know, so you start thinking like, damn, people getting evaporated. That's all you start seeing this shit. People lineages get lost somewhere down the sauce. You know, so somebody flip over a bucket hat, turn it into a collection plate. Oh, say going across and play Monopoly video games. Oh, say real shit. Everybody eating oatmeal. everything. Like people be disappearing and some little lineages. It's like, oh, I'm saying, whole background, whole people's masters. Yeah, I said the whole goddamn everything that was recorded in that goddamn microphone studio booth and shit like that. Oh, I said everything be sold up and shit. So you gotta really think like, man, these cats don't be doing shit, man. These cats just be talking and shit like that. We be giving credit. That's another seal right there. That's another seal. Yup. Because Michael Jackson bought the Bee Gees or whatever like that. Shit, like it was some days and silt his fate up there. Like he ain't got none of that money and shit like that. And, oh, y'all shut y'all mouth. Yup. Because our culture or whatever the case may be, we had rich people like Michael Jackson. He bought the Bee Gees. A version of you just shutting up. That's pretty much it. That's it. There's no, you ain't in on shit. There's no that. There's no that part. There's no, you wasn't in on nothing. You wasn't in on that. You wasn't in on that. I said, I'm a trick daddy. You wasn't in on that. So you stop there and brain. So understand fermentations and correlations and stuff like that, and you'll be able to see a little symbol and stuff like that. And a little sky. And then down here, if you want to make that your name or not, before anything released to Prince or whatever like that. Because, you know, they have you all look sealed. Sealed up here, sealed down here. Making you think Prince knew something about business. Yeah, she ain't no shit about shit. Ain't nothing about it. Just get all your money took to and die. That's it. No, I said, I ever think it's any further than that. Get to a life. Rest in peace, Prince, though. I'll let it speak on the dead. It's like everybody. I fuck with everybody, man. I fuck with everybody. Purple rain. Purple rain. All I'm saying. Just know, this motherfucker's still making money off Rain, the Sky When It's Purple, and his goddamn album. That's it. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight Boss, bitch, you know. For sure. And I listen to Bottom of the Taste Move. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel. And I'm the I got duties and motherfucker responsibilities. Y'all see that? Y'all can see the purple skies too, and the purple rain and stuff like that. Harness it, ferment it. For we don't remember you anymore and shit like that and shit. But everybody here, we still know what rain is. We still see purple sky. We still know Prince album, Purple. Oh, Sarah, shit. You just might not be able to enjoy it. You might just don't reap the benefits. You just might end up in a tree with a koala bear. Lord Jesus Christ, I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all protect y'all spirits.